Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day and welcome to the Egyptian Abroad. First of all, thank you for stopping by and watching this very first video. For a long time, I've wanted to create a space where I could share my thoughts, experiences, observations, stories from my life abroad. Not as an expert, of course, and not as someone trying to tell others what to do, but simply as an Egyptian who has spent many years living outside of Egypt and has seen life from different perspectives. This channel, you can consider it as my personal diary, in a way. It's a place where I will talk about life, culture, travel, work, identity, the challenges of living abroad, and the things that make us question who we are and where we belong. Some videos may be about Egypt, about Russia, about Europe, Algeria, Japan, different parts of the world. Others may simply be reflections on everyday experiences that many of us go through but rarely talk about. And before we go any further, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Amir Samuel Beckett. I'm originally from Alexandria, Egypt, and I grew up during the 80s and the 90s. Beautiful time, beautiful, memories of those days. Alexandria is a very cosmopolitan city, different from Cairo and other Egyptian cities, in a sense that we love everyone. We welcome everybody. As I said, it's a cosmopolitan city where the beautiful time where Greek, Italian, Syrian, Jews, Egyptians, Christians, and Muslims, everybody lived in harmony and in love. There is one very good theatrical work called Hassan Morqos Kohen. Hassan, who is Muslim, Morqos or Mark, who is Christian, and Kohen, who is Jew. And that shows the interaction in a comedy or funny way, the interaction between those three men in a business, in a pharmacy actually. I grew up in this time, in the 80s and the 90s. Everything was really beautiful. People were really nice and the infrastructure was not good. Yeah, that's true. But people were really different from now. A big, huge difference between Egyptians now and Egyptians in the 80s. And if you will ask someone in the 80s, he will tell you the same thing between Egyptians in the 50s and the 40s and the 80s. So every time, I understand that every time has its own criterias and standards. But I'm giving you what I feel and what I saw and what I've lived. Looking back, I feel fortunate to have experienced a different era of life. This is an era before smartphones, before social media, internet, before we carried the entire world in our pockets, really. Life felt slower, simpler, but more connected. Now we have social media, but it's not social anymore. It's more of isolated islands, everybody on their own island. And I believe that this time in Egypt, as in the US, as in Europe, as in Russia or Asia or the Arab world, it was the same. People were simpler, were nicer, and they felt more human, more connected, and less fake. Alexandria was a beautiful place to grow up. The city had its own character, its own rhythm. There were libraries, cinemas, theaters, bookstores, and cafes filled with conversations. A lot of cafes, they are closed, like Pastrudas, for example. This one I remembered very well. Others, luckily, still exist, like Elite, for instance. Not only Elite that exists, luckily for us, but there are also other Greek restaurants and cafes, like Kalithia, for example. On the seaside. Also there is Trianon, Santa Lucia, Chamos. There still exist a lot of good places. But again, at that time, everything felt slower, simpler, and more connected. The sea itself, the sea was always there in the background. Now, unfortunately, if you will walk in Alexandria on the Corniche or on the shore of the sea, A lot of buildings, a lot of restaurants and cafes are blocking the sea view, which is bad. Which is bad for us as Alexandrians. We don't like that. Actually, we're complaining about that. But you know, we cannot do anything about it, unfortunately. So yeah, before it was in the background. You can go to whatever beach you want. You can sit simply on the sand, walk barefoot on the water. You know, feeling and seeing and listening to the sea waves for free. You don't have to pay anything. I remember we were just going with my family, my father, mother, grandmother, my other grandmother, my aunt, my little brother. We were going just, you know, like that. We put chairs, we sit on the sea, we can eat, we can drink, and we clean everything behind us. Before we leave, we take our chairs, our wooden chairs, and we leave everything behind clean as it was. So even somehow the air felt different. It's not like today. We didn't have much technology, but we had time. The only thing that I enjoyed very much at the time is Atari, the console Atari 2600. I was also programming on Atari 800 XL. This is a family computer connected to a television monitor. And yeah, I was a tech geek since I was a kid, and this is the only thing that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. I wanted to be a programmer very much. But people had time for, you know, everything. Time to read, time to explore, time to walk, time to sit with friends and family members, talk for hours and hours, you know, without getting bored, without faking anything. Everything was honest, straight from heart to heart. So nothing to compare with social media, Facebook, and you know, other platforms. You cannot just talk now. You cannot just gather around with your friends or your family members, sit in a cafe or home and talk. You will find everybody isolated with their cell phone, with their smartphone. Everybody will be, you know, everybody's sitting with everybody, but everybody is busy with their phones, sticking the phone to their nose, their eyes rolling while scrolling down Instagram, Facebook, and merely talking to each other. It's very sad, dystopian scene that I see a lot now. I've always loved books, and I still do. You will probably hear me talk about books quite often on this channel. Reading has been one of the constants in my life, whether I was living in Egypt, Russia, Poland, Germany, France, or anywhere else. I also love writing. Sometimes I write, but as I said, I love very much programming. I lived in Egypt until the end of 2008. Since then, my journey has taken me through several countries, including Algeria, France, Germany, Russia, and now Poland. And living abroad for so many years changes you. You begin to see your own culture differently. You start noticing things you never paid attention to before. You learn that every country has strengths and weaknesses, and that life is rarely as simple as people on the internet make it seem. One of the reasons I started this channel is because I want to share those experiences honestly with everyone. Arabs, Europeans, Americans, Asians, you know, and every other race on this planet. Not through headlines, politics, or social media arguments, but just through real life stories and personal observations. And everything I share here comes from my own experiences and my own perspective, and I believe that I have a lot of experiences that can benefit a lot of you guys. Even if you will not benefit from any of those, at least I hope that's going to be entertaining for you. You may agree with some of my views and disagree with others, but that's perfectly fine. In fact, I welcome different opinions. One thing I hope we can build here is a culture of respectful discussion. We don't all have to think alike. We don't all have to reach the same conclusions. Sometimes the most interesting conversations happen when people see the world differently. In the next video, I will share the story of why I left Egypt, what led to that decision, and how my journey abroad actually began. It's a story that starts in my beloved city Alexandria, Egypt, and eventually leads across several countries, cultures, and experiences that shaped who I am today. Thank you again for spending a few minutes with me, guys. If any of the topics I've mentioned interest you, I'd be happy to have you along for the journey. Feel free to leave a comment, share your thoughts, or suggest topics you would like me to discuss in future videos. Until next time, take care of yourselves, enjoy a good cup of coffee, and I will see you in the next diary. This was Amir, and this is the Egyptian Abroad YouTube channel.